Would you like to find out my favorite way to change the width of a trouser pattern to either narrow it or widen it? It is a tried and true method, so if you want to find out more, keep watching. Welcome to Killer Kitsch Lizzie, my weird little world where I like to knit and sew and do other crafty things. And yes, as of filming this, have a cold. I'm at the tail end of it. I'm still congested. I'm still coughing. If I cough, I promise I will edit that out. Yeah, so as the intro suggests, I have decided that, now don't get me wrong, I love the 1945 wide-legged trousers that I made. However, in a short few months, it's going to be winter here. Well, snowing. I mean, it's probably only a month away. Like actual uh, winter, like official winter. Uh, but the trend here lately is it seems just the snow is coming later and later, but the wind chill is not. And as much as I love those wide-legged trousers that I made, um, the wind is going to get up them just like they do a dress. So I wanted to take that pattern and actually take the width out of it. And I did a whole lot of research on how to actually do that. And I looked at magazines, books, vintage books, modern books, like tailoring books. I looked online. I did a lot of research, and I came up with, well, it is a method that's used a lot. However, I just slightly tweaked it to work for me better. And I'll explain the reasons you're going to see after this intro, there's going to be a video of me going through how I did it. And I talk a little bit more about why I did it the way I did it. And it's actually quite simple. It's not, I know when you look at a pattern, you're like, I have to narrow it or widen it. It looks daunting. It's really not. I think two of the easiest garments you'll ever make is pants. If you're just doing straight trousers, like nothing fancy. And sorry about my voice. It's because of my cold. And like skirts, right? So yeah, so there is like no fear in widening or, you know, taking in the width of pants, right? Now, if you want to make sure that you do all this work and they fit, do a toile, as I always say, or a mock-up, or whatever you want to call it. Always, 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 because in the end, you will be less sad if you do all the work and it does not fit, or there's something weird going on. Um, yeah, so because what happened to me was I did the changes and then I did a toile and then I realized I forgot to adjust my darts back. And because of that, the waist was too big. So I went back, fixed my darts. It's perfectly fine now. And if I had not done a toile, I mean, that's an easy fix on pants to, you know, take in the darts, right? But if it was something more complicated that didn't have darts and probably shouldn't have darts, you might be a little sad. So yeah, make sure you're doing a toile, please. I can't recommend enough. Even for a simple garment, everybody's body is different, and just do a toile. Just do it. You'll thank yourself later. Anyway, so um, yeah, there's as I said, there's a bunch of different ways to do it. In the video, I do narrow it down to three examples. I only do one of the three, but I just wanted to show you the different also the different ways to do it. So, without further ado, on to the next video, or the next clip, or where I show you what I did. Okay, so as promised, I'm going to talk about the method I used to get to here. But there was a couple other very popular methods to either widen or reduce the width of pants. And I just wanted to quickly go over those because I don't want this to be a super long thing. So first, let me just move these out of the way, was the taper method. And in those cases, what you'll do is you will figure out what you want the hem to be. And just keep in mind your back hem is going to be slightly wider than your front hem. I'm not sure if everybody's noticed this, but pants pattern pieces, the back piece is always slightly bigger than the front piece, and that has to do with the crotch, like the width of your crotch. It's deeper in the back than the front. So that's why, just keep that in mind. And yeah, so what you're doing in this case is you're just tapering from the hip down to where you want your the width of the hem, right? And you're going to start at the hip and come down. Now, this doesn't work very well for me because and I did try that. I have tried this before in the past. Because my hips are so much wider than my waist, it just looked weird on me. Now, because it just seemed kind of like a little bit, I don't know, I just didn't like the shape. That said, this does work for a lot of people, so it just personally did not work for me. Now, this is also a good method if you have pants that are already made and you need to reduce the width. You could just, like, turn the pants inside out, pin down, on the angle you want them to be till you get to the hem width that you want, and then maybe baste it in place and then see what that looks like before you cut away the excess fabric. So that is one method. The other method is called slash and spread or slash and close. And in the case of that, you're going to draw a line from the hem all the way up to the waist, but leave a hinge. And that opens this up. And you can either open it, make it wider, or close it up. Now, this is also a very, very fast method to use. I did not use it because I had less control over the width here. Like, I was losing inches here. And I did a lot of work to do a full tummy adjustment as well as the crotch adjustments, and I didn't want to lose all that hard work. If I had not had to do any of that, this would have been a good method. However, you might still need to redo the crotch or do a crotch adjustment afterwards, because this is going to pull the pattern pieces in, right? So that's going to make a difference in here. But if you don't have that problem, like you don't need to do that and it still fits you fine, go for it. But I used a different method. So in my case, I used a method where I cut in two different places. I cut across the knee and I slashed up from the knee to for the back piece to the waistline, and in the case of the front piece up to the dart, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And in this case, I had more control over how much was being adjusted in the crotch and the hip area for me, because I didn't want to lose any of that, because I guess I just said I did all that work and I didn't want to lose any of that. So So what you're going to do, I'll start with the front piece, is you're going to draw on your knee line, first of all. So I'm just going to eyeball where that would be on here. And make sure that you, in my case, I line up the crotches. Okay, and then I'm just going to eyeball where the knee, that moved. Let's pretend it's lined up. I'm just going to eyeball where the knee falls on me. I still have this cold, and I swear everything I'm doing is not working. Okay, so just going to draw my knee line. And then I'm going to fold seam line to seam line. And that's going to create a crease line. Now in the case of the front, on these specific trousers, not all trousers are like this, pants are like this, my crease line matches the bottom of the dart. And for the back, it does not. The crease line falls over here, and this is the dart here. Just draw that. Okay, so those are your crease line and your knee line. So before we do any cutting, you are going to need a few measurements. Your thigh, calf, and hip measurements, especially if you want to make sure the hip stays the same. You're going to want to know how wide you want it to be at your knee and how wide you want it to be at the hem as well. And the reason you're doing a calf measurement is you want to make sure that you don't make this too narrow or too tight. And the other measurements you're going to need is your total knee measurements. When I say total, I mean like the entire thing, not just one pattern piece. And you're going to subtract 1 inch, or sorry, you're going to subtract 1 from that, and then divide by 4. And you're going to do the exact same calculation for the hem after you've calculated how wide you want your hem to be, because that's going to affect what we do right now. So we're going to, I'm just going to write top, just so you know where the top of my pattern pieces. You don't have to do that. It helps me keep track. And you're going to cut away the knee from the top part of the pants. Now, do not cut this. Do not cut this. This is staying the way it is. What you are going to do, though, is now that you have your measurement, you're going to fold this in half. Now, I'm just going to eyeball this, but let's say my measurement was, the top was 5.75 and the bottom was, or sorry, the top was 6.75 and the bottom was 5.75. You're going to draw that line. Oops. And that's going to be a cut line, because you're cutting away the excess, right? I'm going to cut that away. And now this is the width of what the bottom of the pants are going to be. This is your hem down here. This is your knee up here. So next, now for the front is going to be slightly different than the back. We're going to cut up to the bottom of the dart. However, because we're not doing a hinge at the waist, we need to have some flexibility, right? So what I did was I cut out the dart first, and then I cut up to just below the dart so I could have a hinge. So the next step is you're going to want to line up, and this is for both pieces. Whatever side has the crotch is the side you're going to line up exactly to the bottom piece, and then you're going to tape it in place. And when you're taping it, just be careful that you leave enough so that the bottom can still move. There. So you just want flexibility there. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to now move the other side over. And at this point, you're going to want to like hold it down and measure across here to make sure you still have that width. You're not losing any of the width in your hip. If you don't want to lose it. I mean, if you have pants that are really wide up at your hips too, and you need to narrow that as well, you know, narrow it to whatever you need to. And in my case, you know, I only moved this piece till it was like enough over that I wasn't losing anything here. And then tape that down. And then in my case, what happened was I had a bit of an overhang here. I don't know how well you're going to see it there, but so what I did then, because you got to adjust that, right? So what I did then is I then just drew a line down from the hip, drew a line down to where that overhang was, and then I cut this off. And again, I made sure that I wasn't losing anything here. So if you know the hip starts coming in here, that's where you would start. And then just cut that away. And then you might need to smooth it out a bit up at the hip just to make sure that you have the right curve still. But coming back to the dart now, that did open up the dart. So what I then did was I put a piece of paper behind it, taped it on, and redrew my dart. And you might actually need to make the dart slightly bigger because opening it up will, in fact, make the waist wider. So adjust this dart to whatever it takes to get that waist back to the size it needs to be. And the back is exactly the same. The only difference is the dart is a smaller dart. It's over here. I didn't have to do anything with that, so I did the exact same steps. And actually, I could do it again if you want, just to make sure you get it. So you're going to cut off the bottom. You're going to adjust the bottom piece. You're going to draw, like, take away the whatever the measurement was. So 5.75 inches at the top for me, 6.75 at the bottom. You're going to mark those, and then you're going to draw the line down. And you're going to cut off the excess of that pattern piece. And then you're not going to cut this line. In this case, you are going to cut all the way up to the waist and leave a hinge. And like the front piece, you're going to line up on the side Oh, the sun's coming in there. That has the crotch. Gonna line that up first. Oh, of course, too much tape. Trying to get my hands to work today. The remnants of my cold is my coordination's off. What else is new? All right, it's flexible still. And then next you're going to move the top piece in, or the side piece in, until where you want it. My bad tape job, sorry. Anyway, and that will, I mean, this looks wider than where I got to with here, but you know, it will narrow the bottom, you know, the pant leg without taking away from the measurements there. So hopefully that was clear as mud. I will have everything over on Patreon. Let me know, like I'll have the step-by-step over on Patreon, because I know people do like to have that handy as they're watching the video. You know, this wasn't really a tutorial, this is just like the method that I use. Yeah, let me know what method you use to either reduce or widen pant legs on your pants or trousers. Hopefully you found this helpful. It's just, you know, to give you an idea of how I did it. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. And welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that little video of me showing you my process of how I did it. It wasn't really a tutorial, it's just how I did it. And the other examples you could possibly try. Yeah, I'm really happy with the results. But yes, if you enjoy this type of video, please subscribe. I've now surpassed 1,000 followers, and that made me so incredibly happy. I cannot explain. And also, it was at a time when I needed some cheering up, and that really helped. So thank you to everybody who has subscribed from the beginning until now. And like this video if you like it. Comment below. Let me know what methods you've used in the past to adjust pattern pieces for, you know, pants. Yeah, just fun little chat below. Anyway, this was a quick little video, I hope. I always hope I do quick little videos. And I'm going to try to get over this cold, and until next time, stay kitschy.